Are you interested in moving to New Zealand for work? Are you a quantity surveyor? Are you a building constructions foreman? Are you an electrician? Are you a mechanic? Are you a medical lab scientist? In this episode, I'm going to be telling you guys and showing you why your applications for jobs in companies located in the Netherlands, in New Zealand, in Canada, in the US are not being accepted. So I'm going to be showing you why this is, okay? And I'm going to be using the New Zealand skill shortage list to buttress my point. So if you're interested in correcting your errors and making sure you get accepted by companies who are sponsoring work visa globally, why don't you stay tuned to this video? But first, give me a second. I'm gonna dash up to the market, and you guys already know I'm gonna be right back with more.
You know the way I do it when I drop lyrical. Anytime I spit lyrical, philosophical. All the niggas mimical, but it's fair still. On taking literal. Punchlines collateral. Maximum damage.
Hello, Chronicles. Hello, YouTube. How are you all doing today? It's still your value-based king, Fuse, from FuseChronicles.com. Now, like I said in the introduction, in this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys why your applications to companies who are looking to sponsor your work visa to come into their country, whether it's Canada, whether it's the US, whether it's the UK, whether it's Australia, whether it's the Netherlands, wherever you're looking to move to, why they keep rejecting your application and in some cases not even responding at all. So I'm going to be using the New Zealand skill shortage list to buttress my point. Now, before I move on to my laptop to show you guys this list, let me just make some points clear, okay? I am not trying to make these videos. I don't push out these videos or write up content for our website for you guys to keep reaching out to me. Fuse, why is it not working? Why is it not working? That is not my intent. I'm not trying to make myself indispensable to you guys. I'm trying to push out this content so you people can be independent in your own right, okay? So you can know what to do even when I am not there. That's why I take my time to make these videos. I will never, like I said in the past, charge you guys any money for reaching out to me, whether via Instagram, via TikTok, via YouTube here. I'm not going to charge you guys any money at all. It's all free of charge. All I only ask is that you subscribe to our channel, you click notification bell so when we drop new content you can catch it, and you give us a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm so they can show these videos to more people, and of course share with your friends and family members. The reason why I thought to make this video today is because I've been getting too many messages from people who tell me, Fuse, I've been applying to companies forever and I'm not even getting any response at all. That's because you're doing it wrong. Before you start to apply to companies who are looking to sponsor your work visa for you to come to the Netherlands, to New Zealand, to Australia, whatever country you want to move to, be sure that you have accessed the skilled shortage list that shows occupations that are lacking in professionals in those countries. Make sure that the job that you're applying for is on that list. And then you can start firing away at different companies that are hiring for those positions in that country. If you don't see the occupation that you're interested in, please look for something else that is related to that occupation and apply. I always tell people that what are you going for? Are you going for passion or are you going for money? You have to be going for one or the other. People who are not going for passion or not going for money are just wasting their time. One of these 2 points or factors needs to be a driving force or driving point in your life. But even if you're going for passion, say for example, like me, you like music, or like me, you like sports, you have to go for a passion that puts money on the table or you are not going to be able to feed yourself or feed your family. Okay, so I know there's a lady who told me she is a pilot instructor and she's looking for a company who is going to hire her in the UK, and the application she's been sending has not been getting favorable response so far. Now, what I'm going to tell this lady is, of course, you know yourself already. Have you looked at the skill shortage list for the UK to find out if this particular occupation is in short supply for professionals in the UK? The skill shortage list is a list of occupations or professions in a country that is currently undergoing mass shortage. It means there are not enough professionals in these areas in that country to cater for the needs of the people. You can find that on our website. You can find all this information on our website, because before we drop a video on YouTube, there's an article, and in that article there's already been released already, which you can always find on our website. So I'm going to not waste much time. I'm going to dive onto my system now. So I'm going to show you guys how you can find jobs that are in short supply, or jobs whose professionals are in short supply. I'm going to use the New Zealand, and why do I keep saying the New Zealand? I'm going to use New Zealand as a sample country so you guys know what it is. Applicable to all countries, okay? It's applicable to all countries. UK, Canada, US, Australia, they all have a skill shortage list that you can use to check to see if the occupation you're interested in is in short supply for this country. So I'm going to scoot over to my laptop now. I'm going to show you how it's done. So obviously everything always starts from Fuse Chronicles. Okay, so you go to the Fuse Chronicles website, goes without saying. So that's where it all begins. That's where the magic usually happens, where it starts from. So you go to our latest article, New Zealand skill shortage list, and you click on it. I'm just, okay, it's opening, so my internet is doing okay. Let me just accept this quickly. So you scroll down. So as you guys can see, the title of the article is New Zealand skill shortage list, the easiest way to immigrate to NZ, which is New Zealand, on a work visa, okay? So I'm going to scroll down. This picture here is this New Zealand, very beautiful country. So I'm going to go down. Now, this is the green list. I'm going to talk about the green list later, okay? So just give me, I'm going to jump it now. I'm going to talk about it later. The green list is a list of skills or occupations that are in short supply in New Zealand that gives you residency. Other of these occupations offer you work visa, but it's an essential skill work visa, which is a temporary work visa. But the occupations on the green list, they offer you a resident visa, which is the shortest path to a permanent residency in New Zealand, okay? So I'm going to talk about that later. Let me just scroll down a bit. There's even a table that buttresses the green list. This is the table, but I'm just going to skip it real quickly. I'm going to talk about the long-term New Zealand skill shortage visa, okay? Now, the long-term skill shortage list is a list of occupations or professions that are in short supply in New Zealand. However, to get this visa or to get these jobs and then get the visa, you're going to need to apply for an accredited work visa for New Zealand, which is a temporary work visa that gives you a couple of years, maybe like some 2 to 4 years stay in New Zealand. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys some jobs that are experiencing shortage in New Zealand under the long-term skill shortage list, okay? So look at this. People who are quantity surveyors. So if you're a quantity surveyor, you can apply to companies in New Zealand automatically. Even if the company does not state that they sponsor work visa, automatically you are going to be accepted by companies who are hiring for these positions. Now, if your occupation is not on the skill shortage list and you're not going to earn the amount of money that is capped for that occupation, even if you get a company to hire you to come to New Zealand or any country around the world to work, you are not going to be granted visa by the Visa and Immigration Services for that country. It's very simple. These laws have already been enshrined in their immigration policies, and not getting a job that is covered by a skill shortage or at least a salary cap is already grounds for you to be denied visa to those countries. So for one, you already know now that New Zealand, people who are quantity surveyors are being sought after. Okay? These positions are being sought after by companies, construction companies in New Zealand. Okay, so what is the criteria? So when you get the job, if your job or the occupation that you're after is highlighted in the skill shortage list, you find out the requirement, the criteria for eligibility. So for this position, number one, this person has to have a bachelor's degree, and the bachelor's degree needs to meet the framework for New Zealand. So they have a curriculum, they have a framework that they use to check whether the bachelor's degree, the quality of bachelor's degree obtainable in your country meets their level of expertise, okay? Or you need to have an equivalent higher qualification and a minimum equivalent of 360 credits. Now I need to talk about this. For New Zealand, they use a point-based system for them to know whether you're going to be granted a work visa or not. So for example, say you apply to this company and this company is looking for quantity surveyors. Number one, you get points for being a quantity surveyor. You get another point for being a graduate from a university where you studied maybe building construction or quantity surveyor or whatever they call that requirement or coursework for that particular profession. So you get points for all this. Now, if you are 55 years and below, not above, work visa for New Zealand, there's a date stipulation. You need to be 55 years and below. You get points for being 55 years and below. So there are a series of criteria you need to meet, and the more you tick each box, the more points that you get attributed to yourself before you can be eligible to be granted work visa to come take up these positions. Now for the quantity surveyor profession, you need to at least have a minimum of 360 point-based credits, okay? You mustn't meet all these points, okay? You mustn't meet all three criteria. Just meeting one criteria is enough for you to be granted a work visa to New Zealand. Another criteria that you could meet for this particular profession is you need to be either a student or an affiliate member of the New Zealand Quantity Surveyor Society, okay? The Institute of Quantity Surveyors for New Zealand. You need to be a member. This is easy. You can actually apply to be a member from your home country, and before you even apply to a company who is hiring quantity surveyors, you can get approved to be a member and you can go about it. Or you could have 3 years relevant work experience as a quantity surveyor for you to apply to a company and then apply for a work visa. Now I need to stress, I've said this before, but I need to stress it again. For the long skill shortage list, you are going to have to apply for an accredited work visa, which was formerly an essential skill work visa for New Zealand. You're going to apply for an accredited work visa, which is a temporary work visa to New Zealand. But I say it, all you need to do is to get a visa. When you get into these countries, you can always change your visa subcategory to something else. It's possible, okay? Now, another job that is on the list is the procurement manager profession. As you guys can see, there's a criteria for eligibility there. You can just log on to the Fuse Chronicles website and check this out. Another position is medical lab scientist, or medical laboratory scientist. I know someone sent me a message on YouTube here in the comment section telling me Fuse, their countries and companies hiring medical laboratory scientists. I'm telling you now, sister, New Zealand is looking for medical lab scientists to come into the country to take up position. And not just medical lab scientists. If you are a professional based or specialized in cytotechnology or cytoscientists, you are also in high demand. This is the criteria right there. But I'm going to leave all this, and even as you can see, registered nurses to look after aged old people. They're in high demand in New Zealand. Now I'm going to, as you guys can see, diesel motor mechanic. So are you a mechanic? Do you fix cars? You are in high demand in New Zealand, okay? So the beauty about this article is we try to get jobs that most people don't think they stand a chance to get a work visa to these countries, and we put them on the article so you guys can see that it is possible. Are you an electrician? Do you do electrical work? You are in high demand in New Zealand. That's what the skill shortage list shows you. It shows you professions that are in high demand, experiencing shortage in professionals in these countries, so you can actually apply to companies hiring for these positions and you'll be sure to be accepted. Now I'm going to move on to the New Zealand immigration website so I can show you guys the full array of professions that is experiencing shortage in the New Zealand long skill shortage list. Okay, so it's going to pop up here. As you guys can see, it's a PDF document. So are you a construction worker? Are you a project manager based in constructions? As you guys can see, it's the first one right here, experiencing shortage. People who are project builders, I'm talking about project managers and site foremen. As you guys can see, there's demand for you here. Quantity surveyors, I talked about that before, or a surveyor. Are you a chemical engineer? As you guys can see, there's subcategories to chemical engineers, material engineers, civil engineers, geotechnical engineers, structural engineers, electronic engineers, mechanical engineers, production and plant engineer, environmental engineer, engineering professionals totally are in demand in New Zealand. Civil engineers or technicians, electrical engineers. Let me just go down to telecommunications engineer in high demand. Procurement manager, I talked about that before. Clinical pathologist, diagnostic and interventional radiologist, general practitioners, medical. As you guys can see, these are all jobs that are being sought after by companies in New Zealand. Physiotherapist. So what you need to do is to go through the list. Go through the list and find out whether your profession is highlighted here. Veterinarians, multimedia specialists, film animators and stuff like this. Go through it all. Project managers in ITC and stuff. Go through the whole list. Chef, are you a cook? Are you a chef? You're in high demand. Environmental resource scientist. This is it, guy. Food technologist, automotive electrician. These are all positions that are in high demand. If your profession is being highlighted in this list, what you need to do is to find companies on Google and apply to them. Even if they don't say they're sponsoring work visas, you are going to be accepted. Now, the next list is New Zealand skill shortage list per region, per province in New Zealand. Now, this shows you each province, each region in New Zealand, and it talks about professionals that are in short supply in those regions. So I'm going to click on it here. You can get the link from our website, Fuse Chronicles, and it's going to open. As you guys can see, Northland, Auckland, Waikato, Bay of Plenty, Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Taranaki. These are all regions, Wellington, these are all regions in New Zealand, and if you scroll down, you can see per region. I'm going to show you guys now. Northland, so they're looking for an apiarist. Okay, I don't know what that is, but obviously it's in high demand. And this is in the category known as agriculture and forestry. Okay, so these are professions that are being looked after. They're looking after a beef cattle farmer. They're looking after a dairy cattle farmer, market gardener, and stuff like these are all professions that are in short supply in this particular region, Northland. Pig farmer. These are all professions being looked. Early childhood teacher. So as you guys can see, it's all covered here. Postdoctoral fellow is being sort of in a university, okay? One of the qualifications you need to have, you need to be a doctor of philosophy or a doctoral degree in the equivalent of the New Zealand educational system. They're looking for a university lecturer. They're looking for a mechanical engineer. For the university lecturer, you need to have a master's degree. So when you come to the right of the table, you're going to see the qualification that makes you eligible for that role. If you have it, then find companies that are looking for people in that position and apply. You're going to be accepted. They're looking for, in this region, looking for accountants. They're looking for anesthetic technicians. They're looking for medical technicians, midwives, and stuff like that. So you guys can scroll down and find out if your profession is covered by this particular skill shortage list for the regions in New Zealand and you find out whether it's covered, and if you like the region, you can apply to companies in that region, and I can assure you, you're going to get accepted. So now I'm going to go back to, there's still one more list, but that one is self-explanatory. You don't even need me to talk about it. It's known as the Construction and Infrastructure Skill Shortage List. This is for people who are working in construction sector, maybe building construction, maybe site foreman, maybe engineer, building engineers and stuff like this. This is the list that you're going to find skills or professions that are short in demand, okay? So you can go there, and if you want to access this list, just come here and click on it. So click here. It's going to open up somewhere like this, and you guys are going to see more positions for construction and infrastructures that are in short demand. You guys can see, I told you, production project manager, project builder, surveyor, and all this kind of building professions, okay? They're all in short supply in New Zealand. So you can look at this. If your skill is mentioned here, all you have to do is go on Google and find companies that are hiring and apply. You're gonna get accepted, I guarantee it. Okay, so I'm going to go back up north. I'm going to the green list. This is the one. This is where the magic really happens, okay? Now, I'm not even going to go to the link. I covered some occupations on the table that you're seeing on our website, but there's a link just down below where it says to get more professions that are in short supply. Click here. You can click there to get the comprehensive list on the New Zealand immigration website. So these are all jobs that offers you a resident visa, okay? A resident visa at least gives you a minimum of at least 5 years in New Zealand and puts you on a straight path to full or permanent residency in New Zealand. So an anesthetic technician or an anesthetist, these are all positions, and you guys can see it's in the group occupational category known as health and social services. You look at how to be eligible for this role and what you're going to need to submit by virtue of documentation. An audiologist, I didn't even know this profession exists, but it does exist. An automotive electrician, okay? A cardiothoracic surgeon. These are all positions. Chemical engineers. There's one more, Chief Information Officer. Okay, these are all positions that are open. They experience a massive shortage. So if you're interested in going to Canada, if you're interested in going to New Zealand, wherever country you're interested in going to countries like maybe Australia or the Netherlands, be sure to access the list of skill shortage positions that the country is currently experiencing. If you want to go to the UK, I know the UK is experiencing a lot of skill shortage in the healthcare sector, people who are looking to become health assistants or live-in caregivers. But even though you want to apply for these positions, please find out which particular sector is experiencing the shortage. Is it a public health care assistant position that is being sought after in those countries, or is it private? Okay, they're not the same. The public one is what you know as your NHS. The private are independent private companies that offer caregiving services to private citizens. Now you need to categorize this stuff and know the ones that are sought after. Now the beautiful things about this article that we have on our website is all these professions were all categorized, so you know which is what and which is being sought after. Okay, so this is what you guys need to look out for when you start to apply for different positions advertised by different companies. Don't just randomly go to a company because you think they're looking for doctors and you think, oh, I'm going to get accepted because I'm a doctor. Maybe general physicians are not sought after in that country. So even if you apply from today to when Jesus comes back, you are not going to be accepted. So you need to be guided by the fundamentals instead of the technicals, okay? Fundamentals always trump technicals, okay? Why is this thing happening instead of how is it happening? That's what it means to say fundamentals or technicals, okay? So I want to believe that this video was helpful to you guys. If I was too fast, I always say go to the settings tab below and slow the video down to the level that you feel comfortable with. And if you still don't get it, then be sure to leave me a comment down below. I'm going to respond to your comment and try to throw more light on whatever is causing your confusion, okay? But if this video was a blessing to you and you love the content and it was helpful to you, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, which is going to make sure that you join the family. And while you're down there, click the bell icon, which is the notification bell that keeps you notified when we drop valuable content such as this one in the future. And while you're down there, be sure to click the thumb icon, which gives us a thumbs up, gives us a like, and tells the YouTube algorithm that you found the video valuable and you're going to find more people all around the world just like you to show this content to. And if you have family members or friends who are thinking about moving to New Zealand or moving abroad, why don't you share this video with them so they can be guided on the best path or decisions to make going forward, okay? And somehow, if the comment section below is too public for you, why don't you follow us on any one of our social media accounts? We're active on 3 social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So be sure to follow us on any one of the social media platforms and hit us with your inquiries when you follow us, okay? I'm gonna try to make this a series, okay? So I just talked about the skill shortage list and how we can help you move to countries overseas by virtue of knowing that your skill or your profession is in short demand, and then you can find companies who are hiring for those positions. In my next video, I'm going to come out with at least 5 of these positions, 5 companies hiring for some of these positions. So you don't want to miss that content when it drops. And to catch it, subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. Okay, and like I always say, happiness is a choice. It's your choice to be happy. It's not my place to make you happy. Neither is it the place of your parents or your friends to make you happy. It's your place to make yourself happy. So why don't you say yes and choose to be happy today? If happiness for you is moving to New Zealand, why don't you use this video as a guide to make sure that the process is as seamless as possible, okay? And if you're interested in knowing how to get a New Zealand sponsor in 10 minutes, a video is going to pop up to my right. Why don't you click on that video and move on to get that information. And don't forget, I remain your boy Fuse. I'll catch you all on the next cut. Bye bye for now.